What's up? This is Priestess Alo, but this is not the Infinite Guidance normal post today. This is me doing something for myself. Yesterday was my birthday, and I wanted to kind of just do more of an unveiling of who I am personally because normally when I post, it's for the infinite guidance. I don't post to big up myself. I post talking about spirit, talking about God, talking about astrology, just everything maybe surrounded around me that's in my life experience. But I don't post directly talking about me and my own life experience anymore. I think I did it when I first started, but I kind of got away from it because I wanted to focus on the business. Anyways, I wrote down 5 questions that I would want to look back on and re-listen to myself and see how much I've grown because if I could do this like years back to see how far I've come already, I would definitely do that. But it's okay that I don't have that. I can just start now. So I wrote them down and I'm going to go over each one of them in detail. This might be a longer post because I normally stick to like 10-15 minutes, but I'm going to be on here for a second, just an FYI. So, 5 questions for me. My first question: what are you most proud of? By the way, I turned 38. 38. Okay? Ain't got good. What are you most proud of? I am most proud of my character. I have a very peculiar, distinct character that is unwavering in a sense of I've been through some, you feel me? I've been through the worst of the worst. I've been through shit like when you're on your way to the Grammys, you step in shit and you miss the most important moment of your life because you have to go home and change your shoes, or your assistant has to get you more shoes. But they're about to call you on stage and the teleprompter is saying your name, but you have on the bottom of your shoe, so you miss your moment. That's the type of shit I've been through. And even in the worst of the worst things that possibly could happen to a divine feminine, I remained in my divine feminine. I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that I'm perfect. I'm saying with the lowest of the lows that I've went through, I've still been able to maintain all of this. Not on my own, because I am not my own, but I've maintained it by maintaining my relationship with the Most High God, Yahweh. If it had not been for Yahweh, if it had not been for Christ, if it had not been for the blood, baby, I would be dead. I would not be sitting here having a conversation with you or myself, for that matter. A lot of people are lukewarm. I don't have a lukewarm personality. I am a Leo sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. I have a stellium in Scorpio and I have a lot of Virgo placements. I am very much so who I am. I've been this way since I was a child. I don't have any intentions on changing my personality or my character. And that's what I love about myself. My personality matches my character and it's unwavering in my faith. I don't go out here and try to fit in anymore. And that comes with age. Turning 38 is like that age for me where I can use everything that I've learned along the way and implement all of it. 37 was integration. 37 was still like me peeking out the window, kind of like looking around the corner, like looking through the blinds, like, is it okay if I do this? Like, I'm really good at it. Do you all accept me? 38 is like, you're missing out if you're not here because, baby, she here and she not going nowhere. That's what 38 is for me. And I'm so happy that I've made it this far because there's been so many things, even involving my health, that have tried to stop me from getting here. I've had people try to do witchcraft on me. I've had people try to do black magic on me. And I don't laugh or say that lightly. I'm being dead ass. I'm keeping it a buck. There are people that do not want my existence to exist and have tried to take me out. And there have been times where I have laid in the bed and not known whether I was going to see it tomorrow. And I put it to bed and let God handle it. But guess what? I'm talking to you because God had a bigger plan for me and still has a bigger plan for me. And my character is rooted in my personality, and it's safe to be me. And that's what I'll continue to be: a woman of God, a child of God, a daughter of God, a divine feminine sent from the Most High with a purpose to fulfill His prophecy. That's who I am. And I don't have to pretend to be anything or anybody else, because acceptance comes from the Most High. And that's the only heart that I'm after. I don't feel the need at this age to impress other people, because other people are not even impressed with themselves. I'm very impressed with myself. I love myself. So that is the one thing that I can say I'm the most proud of. I'm proud of myself. I didn't have to make it, and I made it. All glory goes to God. Okay. Question number 2. Would you redo anything? Ah, and I'm turning my face up. I did write these questions, just to be clear. Would I redo anything? I intentionally wrote down hard questions for myself because I don't like answering questions. I prefer to plead the fifth. I prefer to keep my mouth shut. But that's only because I'm brutally honest. And when I get into a mode where I'm actually like going, it's like, okay, be prepared to hear it. So would I redo anything? Yes and no. The hard part about that question is when you redo things, you don't know if you're going to show up exactly as you are right now. You can tell yourself, well, if I would have redid that, then I'm pretty sure that I still would end up the same. But the bottom line is like it takes the exact measurements of experience, time, interactions to get the concoction of who you are today. So, as much as I would want to or desire to redo things just for the sake of my pride, my truest self says, no, I wouldn't redo anything, because guess what? I am absolutely enamored and in love with who I am today. And I wouldn't be here without going through the things that I went through to get here. So now that I'm here, yes, I'm happy that I'm here. Have I went through hell? Yes, I went through hell, and back means I'm in heaven now. So not so much. It took a lot to get here. OMG. I mean, I have a 17-year-old child. I still remember when I was 17. Sometimes I still feel like the 17-year-old girl I was because I've drug her with me. I'm still that girl. But the bottom line is a redo means that you don't want to be who you are today. And I want to be the woman that I am today. So, no, not so much. I wouldn't redo anything. All of my experiences made me be exactly who I am today. And this is what it took for me to become this person. So I'm okay with who she is. I'm absolutely okay with who she is. Sorry, that's my puppy. She's going to do that. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay. Now let's see. Question number 3. How do you feel about where you are in life? Magnificent. You know why? There are people that are 58 and are not mentally where I am at 38. Yes, the process felt really slow. Yes, the process took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Yes, the process was not easy, and there were days I felt like I was not going to make it. But I've learned to not internalize materialistic things. So, for instance, a lot of people would say, well, no, I'm not happy to be where I am because I'm not a millionaire. Well, guess what? That's fool's gold. My heart is invaluable. My being is priceless. You can't put a price on rubies and pearls. You can't put a price on God's daughters. So, am I happy where I am today? Absolutely, because I know my worth now and I know that I'm priceless. And your self-worth is really something to aim after, and a lot of people aim after a higher tax bracket. I don't value a higher tax bracket because I know that a higher tax bracket is fool's gold. And at any given moment, something can happen and all that can be gone. I've experienced something similar to that too. So money isn't what I value. My self-worth is what's valuable to me. And I have a very high self-worth now. It took me a long time to get here and a lot of double checking like my actions and my interactions. But yes, I am proud of where I am today. I don't need to be a millionaire. This is my father's earth. I don't need to own anything in reality. God owns everything. We're just here passing through. And the best thing that you can do on your journey of passing through is learn how to be the best that you can be. I don't know anybody that's ever been able to control life or what life throws at you or what a season is going to bring. People are going to die. People are going to get sick. Finances are going to go up and down. You're going to have better days than bad days. You might have more bad days than better days, but those better days are so good that they might make your bad days feel like it was nothing. So it's important to just value yourself and where you're at and not look so much at a tax bracket. Because if you start measuring yourself up against money, then you won't ever be satisfied. That's why people are so curious when they see rich people, committing suicide or doing weird things like that. It's like, I know more money, more problems. And I know that from the depth of my soul. I've seen it firsthand. I'm talking about, I've had six figures in the bank. And somehow I knew when everybody's rent was due. I don't ever want to experience that again in my life because everything then becomes your responsibility, but then turn around when you need something or someone, there's no one except God. So that's how you should keep it all the time, anyways. Keep it with you and God. Keep it close, keep it tight. Don't lose that relationship because that is directly attached to your self worth. And that's why I struggled for so long, is because my relationship with God was wavering. I was willing to do worldly things and disconnect from Mother Earth, but I'm no longer willing to do that anymore. So let's move on to question number 4. Dating. I don't even know why I wrote this question down because I don't like to talk about my romantic life at all. But let me tell you what I learned in this last year. Yes, the enemy will be at your front door, disguised as a very fine man. Yes, the enemy will enter the body of your compromised ex. That'll make promises to you like they've changed, but it's important to pay attention to their actions and not their words. I don't care about promises, I care about footprints. What are you leaving behind? Yes, a woman wants to feel desired and loved, but do you desire and love yourself? Because you're only going to attract what you are and where you are. So it doesn't matter if you put up you can put up the highest wall of a facade. It's just going to result in a tower. Where you are internally is the mirror to what you attract externally. And if you attract something that is in adverse to where you are internally, that is a test to see how quickly you pick up on something trying to intercept into your field that doesn't match your vibration. I'm going to say that again. If you attract something that is not equal to where you're at internally on the external, it is a test to see how quickly you can pick up on an interception into your field. Because if you are where you say you are, or you are who you say you are, you're going to pick up on it pretty quickly and you're not going to let anything interfere with your future. So, yes, dating for me has been questionable as always. I've been breaking generational curses. Those are not easy to get rid of. People think that, oh, that's just myth, or no, that's real. 90% of the women in my family are not happy. And the ones that are don't have men. That speaks a lot about a generational line there. And I had to look at myself and realize, like, this is what I'm up against. This isn't just me and my problems. This is the things that the people and the women and my forefathers, this is what the people before me, this is their footprints in the sand. And people need to take that a lot more seriously. Whereas, what are you leaving behind for the generations that are coming after you? Are you an intercessor or are you an interception? Because if you're interrupting someone's forward progress, then you need to reassess where you're headed. And that's the biggest issue I've always had with elders is, are you hindering, are you hurting, or are you helping? And don't get mad at me because I want better for my life. Everyone always has the opportunity to do better and want better and to desire better and to go towards better, but everyone just doesn't want better, and that's just simply it. And that's what I've seen in dating is most people don't want better. They want someone that's going to soothe their wounds and allow them to be who they are in their wounded self. I desire a partner that is going to go to the higher self with me, but I can't make you go with me. You have to be on your own journey. I'm on my own journey. We have our backpacks, and if we meet along the way and we can keep going the same way, then that's perfect. But I'm not stopping for you, especially when you've gotten off path and I'm taking the road less traveled. So dating for me is way more transparent than it's ever been. I don't desire sex the same way that I used to. It's like I like mental stimulation. That's sexy to me. I don't like just physical touch. That's gross to me. Because what are you touching me for? If you're not stimulating my mind, you're really not touching me. The flesh is perishable. My mind and my soul are forever. So I need you to dig a little deeper than the surface. I'm a very peculiar woman, but it don't take a lot to take care of a woman, because if it did, then God wouldn't have created it the way that it is. It's important that men know that women must be taken care of. And first and foremost, a woman must be taken care of emotionally. It doesn't matter if you can provide a roof over her head if she's not safe emotionally. And that's the biggest thing that I've ran into is I haven't met a man that can take care of me emotionally in the way that I desire. I've met men who've tried to love me in their own love language. And it's like, I'm supposed to give that to you. So are you a lover of self or do you love me? Because I'm supposed to love you in the way that you want to receive, love. But you're supposed to love me the way that I need to receive love in order to feel love. And that's the biggest wall that I've ran into is like trying to explain my love language to people that are committed to misunderstanding me. And then it falls apart. And then I'm the blame for the rebel. When in the reality, it's like, no, you rebelled against the woman that God sent you. So I'm not pressed about it. God is keeping me. God is keeping me for when that moment comes to fruition in my life. I don't like to talk about my dating life because it used to be and still is kind of a sore spot. Nobody wants to be alone. But the thing is I'm not lonely, you know? There's moments, just like sometimes it rains. But overall, I'm so happy with where I am and who I am that if somebody comes, I am so much gratitude. If nobody comes, then God has something else for me. And when the person does come that's supposed to be for me, I'll be more than ready. It's better to stay ready, right? So you don't have to get ready, because there's nothing worse than getting something that you wanted and you prayed for and then you can't hold it, because then you lose it. You'll spend your life regretting that you lost it. And there's just not many people in my life that I regret that I lost. There's like maybe two. And if those relationships were truly salvageable, it would be, dual sided. So, yeah, know your self worth, because a bad relationship can set you back. And I don't like setbacks. I like GPS maps. I like to know where we're going ahead of time. So we don't experience setbacks. And if we experience setbacks in a relationship, let's already have a plan B or C. I don't like just being in the abyss of love. That doesn't feel good to me. That ain't my stilo. That's not my steez. It's not who I am at my core. I like emotional safety. And if a man can't provide emotional safety for me, you can't give me nothing. You can't take me on a date. You can't give me a gift. You can't do nothing for me because that is the root of what I require. And at 38 years old, that's what I figured out about myself. And I love that. I require emotional safety. And there's like a 2 percentile out there of men that can offer that to a divine feminine. So until then, I'll be waiting. So, okay, let's go to number 5. Rules for future engagement about life. What can I tell you guys that I haven't already touched on? If you sense racism, run the other way. Racism has a smell. You know, when you get around something and you just like, something about this situation not right. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I know, no, you know, as a woman of color, I can sense racism from a mile away. And even though we're in 2026, I didn't think that racism was as rampant as it is today, and it's still very freaking rampant. If you sense racism, run the other way. Don't fool with it. Because that is embedded in that race DNA. That's something that they got to change. You can be as beautiful, black, and bodacious and bold as you want to be, but it's just going to piss them off and they're going to want to break you in whatever way they can. Racism is a problem that has to be dealt with from the person inflicting the racism. It's not something that, you know, as a woman of color, as a melanated woman, it's not something I can necessarily say, but look how grand and great we are. Why do you want to hate us? No, it don't work that way. People that are racist are just racist in their soul and their blood and their DNA, and it runs for generations, and you have to leave them to that until they figure it out on their own how to fix it. It's not your problem because you didn't break it. It's in the heart. And if a person wants to change their heart posture, then that's on them. Stay away from racism. It gets women of color killed far too often. And I'm going to be honest. That is why I do not date outside of my race. Call me wrong. I could be calling the kettle black, but I'm going to tell you something, I'm not. I've seen it too many times to even test those waters. I'm not shaming anyone who does it. That's for you, not for me. It's not my cup of tea. But that's a rule of engagement. If you sense racism, I advise you not even go near it. Number 2, rule of engagement. Don't work for people that have terrible posture and character. I worked for a restaurant not even long ago. I was getting some things in order and I was actually really helping to manage a restaurant. I got to a space where I was even doing 60 hours a week just to rebuild in a sense and maintain what I already had. And the owner of the restaurant was stealing from the employees. Number 1. Number 2, I worked for a company, world renowned audio company. And they hired me because they needed minorities. What is on minorities on paper? We're not the minority, we're the majority. That's well known. But they needed minorities on paper. And as soon as affirmative action changed, I got fired because they no longer needed to check that box off. And so when the box they needed to be checked anymore, they did away with it. And there was a time I was even in my grind mode so much that I went to Walmart and I worked overnight shifts, just stalking. I wanted to have a job where I could use my hands, mind my business, and not be around nobody. So I wanted to stock. I worked in warehouses. I've done a lot of stuff. Every time I work a regular job, somebody finds some way to try to put me down, snuff me out, crush my ambition, have an issue with me. Stop working for people that are not believers of the Most High and do not conduct themselves as such, and start holding employers accountable for their actions and the way that they treat people. That's a rule of engagement. Stop putting your melanin, time, energy hard work, body and soul, into building up another person's business that doesn't even honor the Most High. You should not be doing that. You should be working with your hands and waiting for the Most High to bless your business. And in the meantime, find means another way. This is why community is important, because when it's only you, you're singled out. When you have a community, you have more weight. But I'm so tired of seeing this society pour into companies and corporations that don't even serve the God. If you don't serve the God that I serve, I have no business working for you. I'm bringing you wealth. We're not doing that anymore. Stop bringing wealth to people that aren't worthy, and know that you are worthy. That's a rule of engagement. Let me see. Do I have another one? Be honest. I feel like I shouldn't even have to tell people to be honest. Like, it should just be, no, just be honest. Be honest to people about your intentions and your desires and your thoughts, your feelings. Be honest. If you can't be honest, just stay away. That's a rule of engagement. If you can't be honest, stay away, go the other way. Don't come around me. Because I sniff out dishonesty, and I'm not, I'm not. And that's why I go back to, like, the older that I've gotten, the more I'm like, I'm not here to people please. Like, we don't people please no more. We please God. People are like, I'm not pleasing another human being, and I'm displeasing the Most High. That don't make no sense. Okay, done with rules of engagement. There are a few other things that I wrote down that I wanted to touch on. And before I go, let me do those. Be unwavering, not lukewarm. Worst thing you can do is be lukewarm. Lukewarm in love, lukewarm in your belief system, lukewarm in your creativity. Don't be lukewarm. Go all the way. You'll be much, much happier going all the way. Because being lukewarm shows fear. And what are we supposed to do? Fear not. Fear not. No lukewarm. Love yourself the way God loves you. Other people will make you question your self-worth because they have none. Love yourself, because if God didn't love you, then God would not have you here. That's just the bottom line. God loves you. God has you here for a reason. So you need to honor yourself the same way that you honor God. It should mirror. It should be a complete mirror relationship. I am with the bridegroom. I am already a wife. When God decides to send a man my way that is my husband, then we'll proceed. But I'm not going to be lukewarm in between. No one has access to my body. No one has that type of access to my mind, because I'm not lukewarm about my love. So I'm not going to give that type of access to someone that is not in that position. I'm very this or that. I don't do lukewarm. There's no 50 shades of gray with me. It's either black or white. Don't be afraid to go deeper. Now, I think I've said this a million times during this. I have a very peculiar personality. I'm a very deep person. I feel things. I feel like I know that I feel things deeper than the average person. And that is really because I have those water placements, and they're blah, blah, blah. I have those water placements, and they're layered. So something that should feel surface level for me is just like the X-Files. Something that should feel surface level for the average person is like the X-Files for me. I'm going to excavate and figure out, what is this feeling? What is this? Is it limerence? Is it like, what is happening? I'm going to get to the bottom of what's happening. That's just who I am. And I encourage you to do the same thing. You don't want to live your life in a foggy haze. You don't want to live your life questioning, like, what was that? Go deeper. Just go deeper. Figure out what it is. Don't be afraid. That goes back to, don't be afraid of yourself. You don't have to be afraid of yourself. You have permission to explore. And I think a lot of times when we're kids, our parents might like shun us in our exploratory phase. But I left home at 17. So I've always been Dora the Explorer, and I plan on continuing to be that way for as long as I live. My future will look like my husband protecting my explorations. But right now, it's just God, and He supports it. So go deeper in your studies, go deeper in your desires, go deeper in the things that you're curious about, your creativity, because it will truly unveil who you are at your core. And that's the only way to really get comfortable with yourself, is to go deeper into self and find out what it is that truly makes you tick. Because if you're always flowing through someone else, or you're always interconnected with someone else, and you only know what you want based on somebody else, and you won't ever truly know who you are, and you'll always be insecure. So that's why I say, don't be afraid to go deeper. Okay, next one. You are exactly who you think you are. And that goes both ways. Like, if you think bad about yourself, then you're probably in that state. If you think good about yourself, then you're probably in that state. Like, you are exactly who you think you are. So protect your thoughts. Protect your eye gate and your ear gate. Protect your thoughts. Open your third eye. Don't be afraid to be exactly who you think you are. There's enough clones out there. It's not enough originality, baby. Come to the other side. It's very, 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 very fulfilling over here. Be an original. They're going to hate you. You can't copy the blueprint. It's always going to be a carbon. And what can you do with a carbon copy? You can see straight through it. Am I wrong? Okay. Um, Last one. Standards are equivalent to boundaries, and they should be firm. That is when I say don't be wavering, be very unwavering. Don't be lukewarm, be very firm and warm in who you are and what you are and who you serve. Your boundaries are equivalent to your standards. If you have low standards, you won't have any boundaries. If you have high standards, you will have some high boundaries. And let me tell you, everybody is not going to take the time to try to get over, like, try to climb over the wall of your boundary. Most people are just going to be like, she thinks she's this. Like, okay, I can do that. I can think and be and act however I want to, because this is my life. And my boundaries are firm now. At 38, my boundaries are firm. I get to choose who comes into my life. I get to choose who stays in my life. I get to choose who I interact with. I get to choose how I show up. I get to choose how I present. I get to choose everything, because I am exercising my sovereignty. I am exercising my free will. And I believe in myself, because I know that I believe in God, and the God that I serve would not have created me if He didn't have a higher purpose for me. And even if your purpose feels small, know that it is a mustard seed in the bigger picture of the entire prophecy. So when I look back on this in 1 year, my next birthday, I will be very satisfied. I'm so happy, just simply happy with gratitude, happy to be alive, happy that I didn't just survive, I'm thriving. I'm thriving in the woman that I am, in what I'm sent to do. And I don't find myself, playing comparison. I don't compare and contrast myself with other women. I'm just like, hey, this is Alo. This is Priestess Ariana Alo. This is who she is. And I'm satisfied with that. I changed my name, and I'm satisfied with that. I don't let other people's belief system and their values, or lack thereof, ruin my pictorial view or the depth of who I know I am in God. Because everyone will try you when they feel like you don't have standards or boundaries. But then when you prove you have standards or boundaries, that's when all hell breaks loose. It does. But guess what? Your standards and your boundaries keep you safe. Thank you for being here. Go in peace.